Zidi na Hustle in association with Safaricom.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Welcome to Technical University of Mombasa, TUM, the only university at sea level. TUM offers different programs in engineering, ICT, humanities, social sciences, applied and health sciences, and business studies. All courses range from certificate, diploma, higher diploma, bachelor's, master's to PhD level. TUM welcomes applications for the May and September intakes of all programs at main campuses and the satellite campuses in Lamu and Kwale. For more information, visit our website www.tum.ac.ke. January intake is ongoing.
Hello.
Babe, I'm lost.
What?
I can just see beautiful trees, beautiful gate, solar street lights, and a water tower. Please come get me.
I'm on my way. Babe, what's happening?
I was just teasing. I needed a plot this Valentine's here. Book one for me.
Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Welcome to Insignia Service Center, a state-of-the-art service center that offers diagnostics, repairs, wheel balancing and alignment, and a fully fledged high-quality paint booth. Specializing in 7 brands, we are a 360-degree customer value chain that promises quality service, competent personnel, pricing transparency, and best price guarantee. Bring your car over today for a free courtesy check. We are located at Karen Road, Kabwagi area. Insignia Group, consistent excellence.
Do you think this is a girl? No! Let them know! Let them know irritation! Let them know irritation! We need a revolution!
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako. This week on The Trend.
Nashukuru mno ndugu yangu Uhuru kwa Rais Donald Trumpet. Nimekuwa nikisikia anaitwa Donald, nikaona kama ni maandazi.
All this and many more only on The Trend.
I'm getting to that house. The first thing I noticed is the same way I left him lying down is the same way I found him. Grace, I didn't need to be told. I knew.
On the season premiere of Unscripted.
Like, how do you just die? You've left me with a child, a special needs child.
I have a deep conversation with a strong lady who narrates about an emotional, devastating event.
I usually say God brought him home in time for him to die.
She shares her story to honor the pill of her life and, of course, to inspire others. Join me, Grace Salame, this Saturday from 8 p.m.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you and welcome to NTV Tonight. My name is Olive Burrows and this is what we have lined up for the next hour. Tonight, disrespect, a divided leadership and polarizing politics. Kenya's pain point.
The arrogance that we see in today's leadership raises many questions as to the future of this country.
Usijali na yale mambo mengi yanaendelea na fujo mingi na vitisho na mambo yale ambayo yanaendelea Kenya hii.
The president stands accused of falling in the very category he is decrying. Politics on the day of the Professor of Politics Memorial. Plus, the drive to deal with Mike Mbuvi Sonko, push and pull outside the court and inside as well. Persecution and prosecution.
There has been a deliberate move to keep the media out of these proceedings.
The respondent to be remanded at Gigiri Police Station.
More nights in custody for the flamboyant politician. Also tonight, burden upon burden, the high cost of cancer treatment and the heartbreak of NHIF rejecting requests to foot bills for contributors.
I received a no approval. What does that mean? That nobody is concerned about your life, you go die.
We do not ask that from patients who have a history of regularly paying their contributions. So it is not a blanket rule.
As I said, my name is Olive Burrows and co-anchoring with me tonight is one David Agondwa for the benefit of those who are hearing impaired. Well, the troubles facing the ex-Nairobi governor, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, may be far from over as he'll be spending his weekend in custody pending the hearing of new charges relating to terror activities on Tuesday next week. A ruling on whether to release Sonko on bond or not over a different charge of assault will also be delivered on the same day, and that is February the 9th. And Zainab Ismail is busy in the kitchen and will be bringing us that report in a short while. Now, nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura has termed his disciplinary process before the Jubilee Party Disciplinary Committee as a witch hunt because of his support, he says, for Deputy President William Ruto's 2022 presidential ambitions. Mwaura says he has no faith in the committee.
For most of the day, nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura was grilled before the Jubilee Party Disciplinary Committee as he defended himself against accusations of party disloyalty, indiscipline, and perpetuating the agenda of the UDA party, which is associated with Deputy President William Ruto. Complainants want Mwaura expelled, but he denied abandoning the party, accusing the party's chairman and his deputy of a political witch hunt because of his support for Deputy President Ruto.
I don't have faith in these proceedings. I don't have them because, you know, David Murathe is your vice chair, right? The appointing chairperson, the chairperson appointed for this committee is Nelson Zuya. You know, Nelson Zuya is the one who has gone on record as having said that I will be used as an example.
The senator's lawyers maintained that UDA is an affiliate party to the Jubilee Party, and Jubilee members should not be punished for associating themselves with DP Ruto, as he is the deputy party leader of the Jubilee Party.
We have also seen discrimination, where nominated members are the ones who have been paraded here before. There's evidence.
What Honorable Isaac Mwaura is being accused of, that he has said the party is moribund, the party is dead. Indeed, it is my submission, Chair, that the Honorable Isaac Mwaura ought to be rewarded by this party for speaking truth to the party.
The committee now has 14 days to consider the submissions and decide whether or not to expel Mwaura. For a while now, the Tanga faction of the Jubilee Party has been perpetuating the UDA agenda, a party whose ticket Ruto is believed to use in his 2022 presidential ambitions, even as the other faction, Kieleweke, which supports President Uhuru Kenyatta, call for their expulsion from the party. Vincent Odur, NTV.
And back to our top story, which Zainab Ismail has made available to us now. And the troubles facing the ex-Nairobi governor, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, may be far from over, as he'll be spending his weekend in custody. And that is pending the hearing of new charges relating to terror activities on Tuesday next week. A ruling on whether to release Sonko on bond or not over a different charge of assault will also be delivered on the same day. As I said, Zainab Ismail spent the day in court in Kahawa West and filed this report.
The ex-Nairobi governor was in usual dramatic fashion brought to the precincts of the Kahawa Law Court at the Committee Maximum Prison, becoming the very first suspect to appear in the newly launched court on terror-related charges under heavy security. Only lawyers and journalists were allowed past the special anti-terror police unit officers that manned the area. Inside the court, before Magistrate Diana Mochache, Sonko's defense team led by John Khaminwa protested the move by the prosecution to have the terror-related case heard today on grounds that they needed sufficient time to prepare a defense based on the gravity of the matter.
I feel very respectful. Give us adjournment so that we come here and we can address you with confidence.
Even in the interest of justice and fairness, he ought to have adequate time and facility to prepare his defense.
The defense team accused the state of abusing its power to punish the embattled former governor over a political fallout.
It will be dangerous precedent being set because those who wield state power and who have control of immense state power are going to abuse their power by ensuring that they punish their political competitors in the interim using detention, what Justice Nguki called pre-charge detention.
Now that the government we elected is busy eating its own children, we have no duty to respect it or to trust it.
It is a submission that no sufficient grounds, sufficient reasons have been given to warrant an adjournment.
I do agree with Dr. Khaminwa that terrorism is not just a simple criminal case. Terrorism offenses are complex in nature and they require a lot of time to not only to prosecute but also to defend. Fair for this court to insist that this case must proceed today.
Mike Sonko will remain in custody for the next 5 days before he faces two different cases at two different courts on Tuesday. One before the Kiambu's Chief Magistrate Stella Atambo and one related to the terror-related charges he's facing here at the Kahawa Law Courts.
In an affidavit seen by NTV, sworn by Chief Inspector Newton Thimangu of the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit, says Sonko had started arming his private security agents with full military attire and that there was intelligence information that he is connected to financing of terrorism activities in the country. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
To another story relating to the cotton, one that NTV has been keeping a keen eye on. Well, he abused girls aged between 11 and 13 years of age, physically tortured the children under his care, among other child rights abuses. And now the American missionary Gregory Dow, who pleaded guilty to 4 counts of illicit sexual conduct with a minor before an American court, I beg your pardon, will spend the next 16 years behind bars for the vile acts he committed. His sentencing comes 3 years since fleeing Kenya when the offenses became public. Ngina Kiruri has more.
U.S. District Judge Edward Smith categorized Gregory Dow as a missionary from hell before handing down a sentence of 188 months, which is 15 years and 8 months in jail. Gregory will be under lifetime supervision upon release and is prohibited from interacting with children aged 18 or younger. He is also to register as a sex offender in all U.S. states. The inconceivable acts took place here between 2008 and 2017. Gregory had been caring for at least 83 orphaned and vulnerable children alongside his wife Mary Rose, who is not on trial in the United States. For locals, the sentence is welcome.
Naona kile kifungo amepewa hata kama ni miaka 16 akitoshi. Huyu anatakiwa apewe kifungo cha kufunga maisha ama anyongwe.
Sisi ni wamama na bado tunakwenda hiyo uchungu kabisa mpaka dakika wa leo hatujaona haki ya watoto ikitendewa.
Hiyo judgment imepeanwa leo haitoshi kabisa. Hatukubali. Tunaomba huyo msungu afungwe kabisa.
David Bett worked here as a home manager before being sacked for calling out the Dows. He says while justice may have been served, the damage done to the minors could last a lifetime.
Most of these girls that are alleged to have been sexually assaulted by Gregory, they don't have, they're just loitering in town and their lives are already messed up for good. So to me, I didn't see it as that judgment has been done correctly. It should have had more stiff penalty.
Jeffrey Ngetich, who leased his land to the Dows, also says that the victims and their families should be compensated.
I would rather appeal to those concerned, more especially this government, to come to the aid first of the victims, to compensate them financially, so that at least they can have something to cushion their lives.
The underage girls at 61-year-old Dow sexually abused and exploited were reintegrated into the community by the Children's Department. His prosecution and sentencing in the U.S. lifting the veil on weaknesses in child protection programs and the justice chain in the country. Gena Kirori, NTV.
From those sickening acts to the state of COVID-19 in the country, and the figures are this, and that is according to the Ministry of Health. Now, 108 people have tested positive out of a sample size of 4,448. Now, those 4,000 were tested in the last 24 hours. That brings the national count to 101,339. 4 people tragically have succumbed to the virus, raising the death toll to 1,773. And as the world marks World Cancer Day today, the Ministry of Health tells us that cancer is the 3rd leading cause of death in the country. Now, back to COVID, and out of the 1,773 COVID-19 deaths, 59 of them had cancer as an underlying condition. 88 people have recovered from the virus, bringing the total number of recoveries to 84,143. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health says the country is set to receive 4,176,000 COVID-19 vaccines by the end of February, targeting 1.25 million Kenyans, mainly frontline workers, as would be expected. And police officers as well as teachers will be among the first to receive the vaccine. The second phase is set to arrive in July of 2021 and to run through to June of 2022.
Because of our low mortality rate, our recovery rate is fairly high because of our youthful population and, of course, other inherent biological factors that we have not yet proven. In terms of testing capacity, we are implementing a new testing strategy from late last year. So we only test the high-risk people.
To matters politics now, and the National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi now says the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 will not take more than a month in the hands of MPs once they receive it from the county assemblies. According to the Speaker, MPs' hands are tied as they cannot make any changes to the bill. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Muriithi sat down with the Speaker in as Parliament prepares to resume next week.
As counties continue debating the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi says the House is ready to look into the bill and could pass it within a month.
Once it is read the first time, we'll take it to the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. I expect within 2 weeks or 3 weeks maximum to bring their report.
In a one-on-one interview with NTV, Speaker Muturi said the hands of the National Assembly are tied.
This being a constitutional amendment bill, they cannot amend, they cannot propose amendment. So obviously, it means that it will take a very, very short time.
The Speaker also noted the raging debate on whether a referendum bill will be in place before a plebiscite is organized later in the year is not beneficial. As of now, there are 2 bills before the House, one by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee and the other by the Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee. The bill by the Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee is favored by the Deputy President William Ruto and his allies as it proposes a multiple question referendum.
I have directed that we have the Jail Act referendum bill being the anchor bill, so that if there are any amendments to it, they could then be informed by the CIOC, referendum, proposal.
According to Speaker Muturi, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has consulted widely, including with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Kennedy Muriithi, NTV.
If you'd like to rewatch that interview that Kennedy Muriithi held or did with the National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, please visit our NTV Kenya YouTube channel. The National Police Service has denied claims of disgruntlement from within its service over its plans to recruit graduate cadet inspectors from the civilians who will also compete with service members for the 300 available slots. A letter seen by NTV, written by some of those officers to the NPSC, is beseeching the Commission to halt the open recruitment and consider service members first before venturing outside. Leila Mohammed also reports that this year's recruitment for general officers will also be on February the 22nd, with cadet inspector candidates applying for the slots online.
The online applications for 300 cadet inspectors of police is ongoing, and with the window for those seeking to serve with the National Police Service quickly closing, the police service says this is an avenue for equal opportunity to all Kenyans, and it will not discriminate even within the ranks and file. But according to a letter written to the NPSC from a source purporting to represent all professional police officers in the service, the aggrieved want the process halted and priority given to uniformed officers who believe they have the academic qualifications.
Hizi cadets yenye tunatafuta inatupatia uwezo ya kuandika specialists, lakini huwezi pata kati ya hawa officers pathologists. Kama kuna moja daktari ama pathologist, ningependa kujua ni nani.
But according to officers who spoke to NTV on condition of anonymity, the service already has qualified officers, negating the need to recruit civilian experts. The National Police Service says that already there are 300 degree holders within the rank and file who will be taken through promotion courses in the next 3 years.
Leo, tuna admit 902 graduates to police college. Wale serving graduates waende wafanye course ya inspectorate. Na hawa 902 ni wale serving officers.
The police service will be recruiting new officers after a 3-year hiatus that came after a presidential decree to stop recruitment into the public service.
we will be undertaking random pre-recruitment clinics. There has not been adequate information for the youth to prepare.
The police service will be recruiting new officers after a 3-year hiatus that came after a presidential decree to stop recruitment into the public service. The one-day recruitment seeks to fill 4,700 slots in all 290 constituencies on February 22nd, 2021.
We are going to recruit 2,400 officers for the administration police, and we'll also be recruiting 2,300 officers for General Service Unit, GSU.
The police service says that the cutoff age for constables is 28, though they will consider much younger candidates, and the cutoff age for cadets is 30 years. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Leila Mohammed, our resident security expert. We take a break. We'll be back shortly.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Hello.
Babe, I'm lost.
What?
I can just see beautiful trees, beautiful gate, solar street lights, and a water tower. Please come get me.
I'm on my way. Babe, what's happening?
I was just teasing. I needed a plot this Valentine's here. Book one for me.
Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako. This week on The Trend.
Nashukuru mno ndugu yangu Uhuru kwa rais Donald Trumpet. Nimekuwa nikisikia anaitwa Donald, nikaona kama ni maandazi.
All this and many more only on The Trend. New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV tonight. Now to a news report that has come all the way from Baringo. President Uhuru Kenyatta has asked his deputy to emulate the late President Moi in humility, a trait he believes was key in the late president's ascension to State House. The head of state decried the arrogance among political leaders while at the first year anniversary of the death of former President Daniel Arap Moi. Bridget Ngana now reports the president, amid his battles with his deputy, appears to be practicing the art of doublespeak as he calls out others on sins he is also committing.
Laying fresh flowers, keeping fresh memories of a life they celebrate, that of the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. A year after his demise, the gathering at his memorial was not just of his biological family, but his political one as well.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
The political discourse in the country has been and is increasingly becoming toxic and polarizing, with insults and other divisive talk and actions playing out in public.
The arrogance that we see in today's leadership raises many questions as to the future of this country. Wenzangu, tusiteleze, tulete demolition squad badala ya wajenzi.
From disregarding court orders to flouting COVID-19 containment rules to speaking as one encouraging hooliganism after the Githurai incident and other cases where he has set aside the rule of the law, the head of state also stands accused of the very concerns he is calling out. His critics argue that he and his allies have been operating in a mtadu approach. The political class has appeared to be in the same boat across the divide. The 2022 politics are a key driver of the unsettling situation.
One thing I would want to remind people today ni ya kwamba heshima sio utumwa. Mzee Moi alikuwa mtu wa heshima. Alitumikia mzee wangu miaka 17 kwa heshima kubwa sana. Sana. Mpaka wakati wake ukafika. Akaendelea kuongoza wa Kenya kwa heshima kwa miaka 24 na akawacha na heshima.
Various leaders of the Moi home credited their political journeys to the late professor of politics. They also took swipes at Deputy President William Ruto, who was conspicuously absent, slamming his early campaigns, claiming that he is sabotaging his boss as their tenure draws to a close.
Every single word we say must be geared towards holding this country together, uniting the people of this country, and taking this country to the next better level. Because kama unaanza kufikiria kama si wewe ipasuke, itaanza kukupasukia wewe.
Mimi ningekuwa ndugu William Ruto, ningemheshimu sana Rais Moi because he made you who you are today. Lazima tuseme ukweli huu. Kwa sasa kama nashambulia kusema familia ya Moi ni dynasty, wewe ulikuwa uko ndani. In effect, you are more of a son than Gideon. You cannot afford to antagonize your people and create class wars and radicalize the youth.
Na captain, hata kwa mpira, ukiona watu wengine wanacheza, badala ya kufunga kule, wanarudi kufunga upande wako. Waweke kwa wanaweka nini? Kwa bench, rudisha mtu kwa bench. That's war will start in Mandera to Mombasa to Namanga and everywhere. So we must also guard that, please, you want your space, you want your votes, but do not use divisive politics. Unite us, bring us together.
Today marks the first year since the demise of the country's second president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. His political sons, led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, calling for a redirection of the politics of the country, which they feel at the moment is sowing division instead of unity. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru County.
It's actually the Kabarak home there. Well, Deputy President William Ruto has taken a swipe against those blocking his journey to the presidency, reiterating that he will not back off his agenda push. Ruto, who was in Kwale County, once again slammed the handshake and the Building Bridges initiative, which is ultimately a salvo at his boss. Kevin Mutai takes us to the heating politics at the coast.
Deputy President William Ruto was in Mwangulu in Kwale County, where he defended the hustler movement narrative, which has drawn a lot of criticism, even from his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Musijali na yale mambo mengi yanaendelea, na fujo mingi, na vitisho, na mambo yale ambayo yanaendelea Kenya hii. Haya yote hayawezi kuzuia yale mambo wa Kenya wameamua.
DP Ruto reiterated that the President Kenyatta-Raila Odinga handshake and the Building Bridges initiative are a key cause of the Jubilee government's failure to deliver on its promises.
Wewe umekuja ukafurusha watu wote ambao walikuwa wa Jubilee. Leo bunge kamati zote imeingizwa watu wa ODM. Chairman wa finance ni mtu wa ODM, chairman wa education ni mtu ya ODM. Sasa unatuambia amuko serikali kwa njia gani? Hizo makamati mko ndani.
Ni muungano ya kutengeneza nafasi za watu 10, sio nafasi zetu sisi. Leo MCA wanapewa shilingi milioni 2 kinyume na katiba ya hii nchi ili wapasishe katika kaunti 24 ndio BBI iweze kufaulu.
The DP's 3-day tour of the Coast region is seen as a move to dismantle the ODM party's hold of the Coast region.
Hujangoja endorsement ya mtu yoyote. Dunia hii mpaka ujitume, hakuna endorsement sijui natoka mimi aingie nani.
Kama nyinyi wenyewe hamwezi kuzungumza kwa sauti moja, sisi mwatuambia tufanye nini? Wanaishiwa hawajaishiwa. Ile sindano tuliwadunga kule Msabweni na wanatapatapa paka leo hawana mashiko.
Kevin Mutai, NTV, in Kwale County.
Well, when we brought you the COVID-19 numbers of the day, we did mention that it also happens to be World Cancer Day. And in that respect, we'll be bringing you the latest numbers as given to us by the Ministry of Health with regard to cancer. Now, the Ministry of Health has identified 5 cancers as being responsible for over half of the cancers reported in the country annually. And the number of cases we get annually is 42,000 on average, and half of that is 21,000. Now, the 5 cancers this leading is breast cancer, followed by cervical cancer, prostate, esophageal, as well as colorectal cancer. Now, over the last 5 years, the World Health Organization estimates that 82,620 people have been diagnosed with cancer, 66% of whom are women. I did mention that women are disproportionately affected, given that the 2 leading cancers are breast and cervical cancer. Now, the biggest challenge identified when it comes to cancer treatment is the failure to detect it early, with 60% of breast cancer cases, for instance, diagnosed in the later stages, that being stage 3 and 4. And that is when the cancer has spread to surrounding tissue and at least one other body organ. It's therefore more difficult to treat. Now, only 16% of Kenyan women between the reproductive ages of 15 and 49 have undergone cervical cancer screening, with a fewer, that is 10%, having gone through a clinical breast exam. Now, these figures are hardly surprising when you take into consideration that a cancer diagnostic test at a public facility will set you back an average of 44,000 shillings and up to 132,000 shillings in a private facility. And even if your cancer is diagnosed early, it will cost you between 147,000 and 1.2 million shillings in a private hospital for inpatient treatment of breast cancer. And when I say early, I'm making reference to the first 2 stages. Now, it's no wonder then that many families are rendered bankrupt by cases of cancer. When we come back from this case, Anita Nkonge will bring that story home.
The day the world stopped, we are not going to leave anything on our plates. Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
We are here today to pay our tribute to Dudu. Dudu was full of life. He bit, stung, and made people itch at his own will. He spread malaria with great pride. To the family, stay strong and believe that the larvae he has left behind will follow in his wings.
I heard he was killed by a mosquito. His family does not know yet. Ati? I said he was killed by mosquito.
Moskill kills mosquitoes, cockroaches, and all household insects.
Kufedi!
A product of Osho Chemical Industries.
From your first day at school to you captaining your soccer team, no matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. That's why I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Good evening and welcome to Business. Let's get down to just that, business. A month after African countries began trading under what could become the world's largest free trade area, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, SecGen says that Kenya is free to continue negotiating a separate free trade agreement as long as they abide by the rules agreed upon by member countries. 36 countries out of the 54 African countries have so far ratified the agreement to become members of the single market in Africa, which allows for the free movement of goods and eventually people and investments across the continent.
Any state party is within their legal rights to negotiate with a country outside of the AfCFTA region, that is to say a third country, as long as you provide the same, better, or similar treatment to the AfCFTA state party that you are intending to provide to a third party. The issue is not whether you negotiate with a third party or not. It is about the preference that you give, the equality of treatment that you give to AfCFTA state parties.
Now, a day after the National Treasury revealed that the regulations for counties to begin tapping into the capital market to raise funds are ready, the Exchequer is being advised to tread cautiously in allowing the devolved governments to widen their reach in raising debt. The Institute of Economic Affairs argues that the Treasury should focus first on streamlining disbursements to counties before access to the capital markets is granted. Julian Samboko with the details.
With only 5 months left to the close of the financial year, counties have received only 145 billion shillings worth of their equitable share allocation. This translates to 46% of the full amount they should receive and speaks to the challenges faced in timely disbursement of funds to the devolved governments. The window to tap into the capital markets through securities such as bonds is widely expected to help address the cash crunch counties face every year. Economic pundits, however, are urging for caution in the actualization of this plan.
Given government's quantum of debt already and how it's been managed, I think there are two concerns. The first, obviously, is if you look at the Auditor General's findings about counties, financial management is still very, very weak. The second is, at this point, obviously, because the national government would have to underwrite this debt, in a way, guarantee this debt, the kind of strictures that would actually have to be applied to counties are such that very few of them would actually qualify.
According to the latest full-year report from the Office of the Controller of Budget, only 11 counties met the Public Finance Management Framework requirements that no more than 35% of expenditure should be dedicated to the wage bill. This raises another point of concern around counties being allowed to raise debt.
I don't think that any of them are ready, say, within a medium-term range of a year or two. Given the financial position of most of them, part of it coming from the backflow of the difficulty that the national government has actually sprung on them.
It's not just saying you're not spending 30% on development. It's what is the implication? Is your entity growing? Is your county growing?
In his statement issued on Wednesday, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani lamented that majority of the counties which have applied to raise debt in the capital markets fail to meet the set thresholds. It speaks to the level of preparedness through which counties need to be taken to ensure they are investment ready. Julians Amboko, NTV.
Let's move to farming. A livestock auction in Uasin Gishu County has brought to visibility the need for farmers to nurture improved breeds of animals. The annual livestock auction at Chebarorwa Agricultural Center, which attracts farmers from within and without Uasin Gishu County, saw farmers scramble for the livestock available with a focus on the best breeds which guarantee higher yield. Participants at the auction say the price differences fetched by different livestock has served as a wake-up call to the need for focus on improved breeds by farmers. The auction is a key pillar of the country's agricultural economy.
Nimekuja kuangalia maneno ya nilikuwa nataka breed ile mzuri ya ng'ombe na kondoo sana, lakini nimeona iko vizuri, lakini bei si ya mkulima, especially ile mkulima anajaribu kujianzisha.
Nimeona farmers wamecompete for the pricing, mpaka zingine zimeenda mpaka karibu 180,000, 150. Actually essence ya auction ni hiyo, but going forward tutataka kuwa na breeding stock.
It has also surprised me that a milk goat can go for 50,000. And I was telling my farmers here, then why should you be struggling with maize that will give you 60,000 for a whole year? If you can rear one goat that gives you 50, suppose you have 10. And you know, this one, hakuna kusumbukana, 1 acre inatosha, unalisha tu hapo nyumbani, mahindi kidogo, na mbuzi inanga ugonjwa mingi. Wewe utapambana tu na kupe kidogo, and because there is almost zero movement, you are unlikely to experience matters of disease.
Business and myself are both done, but Olive has a lot more to burrow into.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Lovers are booking their tables at GMC Place Kitengela. Yes, it's Valentine's, and as is custom, love is blossoming at the heart of GMC. Make that proposal, rekindle your romance, or treat your special someone. Let GMC Place Kitengela be your choice to bloom in love. With a few slots available, call us today on 0701 560 560.
Trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
And we're back. It's one thing to have gang attacks during the day and another one to have a gang terrorizing people not only in broad daylight but walk free. This is the situation in Maragua town in Murang'a County, where a gang has been robbing residents and businesses both day and night, refusing to pay for goods and services. And if anyone were to insist on payment, it could end up being a bloody scene. Martin Mora reports of the concerning situation that has seen police officers accused of playing ball.
Maragua town is among the fastest growing towns in Murang'a County. But there's a growing problem in the area: insecurity on account of a brazen, brutal gang.
Kila kitu anataka kuchukua kwa hii town lazima achukue. Akikuja jioni ndio watu wanatoa metura yao nje, wanakula yote. Anataka kuingia kwa butchery tena achukue nyama. Yaani kila kitu anachukua. Unasikia mpaka kwa chifu waliingia kwa duka wakamtoa wakakula, baadaye wakatoroka. So ni criminals na sio wengi.
Some of the attacks and incidents happened both at night and during the day. The criminals are armed with crude weapons such as machetes.
Maragua is a capedo in waiting. Hata bodaboda ukiambiwa tupeleke pahali wewe ukatae, unasikia wamekatwa.
Residents say the thugs also vandalize and steal from parked vehicles. The rise in insecurity has been attributed to increase in consumption of illicit brews and drug abuse. They claim the gang is from a neighboring slum known as Maisha Madhe, which neighbors the town. They allegedly even operate during curfew hours, raising questions on why the police are ready to arrest the criminals who are known to them. Police officers have been accused of either sleeping on the job or working in cahoots with the criminals.
Huku tumekaa hata hatujakaa miaka 3, simu 3 zetu zimeenda. Mi yangu na ya mam iliimbiwa, ya madhi iliimbiwa like tukiwa kwa nyumba tu. Sijui anaingiaje kwa nyumba. Wizi imekuwa mbaya sana huku. Sisi kwenye tunaishi ni iko around kwa DO. So unaona kama mko kwa security na mnaibiwa, hao wengine wako huku ni mbaya sana.
Nikipiga simu pale polisi niseme kuna place fulani kumetokea jaga fulani. Sasa unapata pale kwa polisi kuna informer. Kitabu polisi wafike pale, wale washajua, washatawanyika. So polisi wakifika pale hakuna wa kuarrest.
Upande wa usembe katika kasini na ama kuna watu pengine officers wetu wanaweza kuwa wanashirikiana na wale wahalifu ambao ni watu ya pombe haramu na aidha madawa. Internally tunasungusa, kuna wale ambao tunasungusa tuone kama wako kwa ukeli wako ndani ya haya mambo ama hapana.
Murang'a County Security Team has termed the situation as normal crime, promising to increase patrols and raids.
We will deal with them until they'll give up and will pacify that place in terms of illicit brew and drugs. That is the genesis of the problem.
Utakuta wanabiashara kazi zao zinafungwa mapema ama zinavunjwa. Ama hapa juzi, hapa chini tu. Kuna duka ilivunjwa. Na huyo mtu amefungua tu hata siku 3 hazijaisha. Unaona? So, lazima wakuje pamoja, tukuje pamoja ili insecurity iwe imetulia.
Now, even the economic growth appears to be under threat.
Walikuwa wanakatakatia watu mbele ya supermarket. So na ni saa moja. Sasa kama wanakatakatwa saa moja, nani atakubali kupitia hiyo supermarket? So ni lazima serikali itusaidie na igilie kati ndio kuhakikisha usalama umeimarishwa bila kugoja muda mwingine iendelee.
Maragua residents say they have been pushed to the corner and are asking the police to move with speed and arrest the criminals before they too arm themselves and take law into their hands. Martin Mora, NTV, Murang'a County.
Thank you for that report, Martin. 2 matters: International Criminal Court, and the court has convicted a Ugandan child soldier turned Lord's Resistance Army commander of war crimes and crimes against humanity. The Netherlands-based court found Dominic Ongwen guilty of charges relating to crimes including murder, widespread rape, sexual enslavement, child abduction, torture and pillaging carried out in the early 2000s. Ongwen could face life imprisonment.
Ex-Ugandan rebel
Commander Dominic Ongwen sat impassively through the lengthy verdict at the International Criminal Court and showed no reaction as the names of many of his victims were read out. Ongwen, a feared commander of the Lord's Resistant Army nicknamed White Ant, is the first member of the LRA to appear before the court. The court said 45-year-old Ongwen ordered attacks on refugee camps as a senior commander in the LRA. He was convicted of war crimes, including crimes against humanity, murder, rape, torture, and sexual enslavement. Civilians were shot, burned, and beaten to death. Children were thrown into burning houses, and some put in a polythene bag and beaten to death, according to the judge.
The chamber has therefore convicted Dominic Ongwen of a total of 61 crimes, compromising both crimes against humanity and war crimes.
In the Ugandan village of Lukodi, Sunday Kilama vividly recalls when the LRA attacked his village, killing and maiming people.
One of the rebels entered inside and he ordered us to come out. We came out and I was the only one who was taken from that hut. The others, they were killed. I'm still traumatized up to now. And it's very hard for me to forget what has happened.
The United Nations says the LRA killed more than 100,000 people and abducted 60,000 children during its campaign of violence. More than 4,000 victims took part in Ongwen's trial, which began more than a decade after a warrant of his arrest was issued in 2005. But the case presented a dilemma to the court, as Ongwen appeared to be both the victim and the alleged perpetrator. He said he was abducted by the LRA and forced to be a child soldier before rising up the ranks to become the deputy to LRA Commander Joseph Kony. But the judge said his guilty has been established beyond any reasonable doubt. Ongwen surrendered to U.S. Special Forces who were hunting Kony in the Central African Republic in early 2015 and was transferred to the ICC to face trial. Founder Joseph Kony remains on the loose. Ongwen could now be imprisoned for life. Judges will address his sentencing at a later date.
Ida Weringa with the sports news on the other side of this break.
Dial *544*0# to unlock your Safaricom data deal of the day on Kenya's fastest 4G network, Popote. Let's go beyond. Twende tukiuke.
Hello.
Babe, I'm lost.
What?
I can just see beautiful trees, beautiful gate, solar street lights, and a water tower. Please come get me.
I'm on my way. Babe, what's happening?
I was just teasing. I needed a plot this Valentine's here. Book one for me.
Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi, guy,
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
This week on The Trend.
Nashukuru mno ndugu yangu Uhuru kwa rais Donald Trumpet. Nimekuwa nikisikia anaitwa Donald, nikaona kama ni maandazi.
All this and many more only on The Trend.
Great time for the latest in the world of sport. And Mathare United remained in 15th on the Football Kenya Federation Premier League log after a 1-1 draw with Western Stima at Kasarani. Now, Daniel Otieno scored what looked like the winner for Mathare with only 4 minutes left, but Western Stima, who had the better chances in the match, equalized in added time. The Slum Boys have so far only amassed 5 points from 7 matches, while Western Stima are a point above them in the red zone, having played 10 games. League leaders Tusker FC host Wazito in Friday's only match. Meanwhile, Gor Mahia will take on Congo Boys in the round of 64 in the Betway Cup 2020-21 season, with match day 1 set to kick off February 13th and final slated for July 31st. The tournament winner takes home 2 million shillings, while the runners-up pockets 1 million. The third place and fourth place teams get 750,000 and 500,000 respectively. The tournament's winner gets a chance to represent the country in the CAF Confederation Cup.
We will conduct tests, and it's important to say this, within our budgets and as realistically as is possible. But as we roll out this, of course, it's with the best interest of the players, technical bench, FKF officials, and of course the sponsors, to ensure that we mitigate against the spread of COVID. So yes, there will be tests. How frequent they will be, that I can't tell for now.
Right, and the national rugby sevens team set to undergo training in Spain this month ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics will be named on Friday. Now, to ensure the Shujaa and Lionesses teams travel without challenges, the Kenya Charity Sweepstake, through its 10 million shillings grant to the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, has given 2.8 million shillings to the teams. The deal between Kenya Charity Sweepstakes and NOC will run for 5 years. The deal covers both the Tokyo and Paris Games. The national teams are set to travel to Spain for 3 weeks, during which they will play in 2 tournaments. Kenya will be participating at the Olympic Games for a second time after making their debut in Rio de Janeiro back in 2016.
We are traveling to Spain on 14th of this month. When we go play, we will know where we are, because we will rank ourselves with the teams that we are going to play with in the Olympics.
Lionesses, they've come from far. And this sponsorship, at least, Sisi as Lioness, we will try our best. If someone comes through, you must show them you can.
We've had a whole year without a tournament. And for something like rugby,
You do the conditioning, you do the fitness, but you get the game. There's something that we call game or match fitness. That one you only get it when you're playing a match. And of course, not these two small tournaments. Unajua, when you're going for kitu kama Olympics, this is a big tournament with big teams. So you need games zenye ziko na almost, if not the same profile as the Olympics.
Right, all the best to the ladies there. Another contractor risks losing the job for failing to complete the construction of the 247 million shillings Kirubia Stadium in Tharaka-Nithi County within the deadline. Sports Cabinet Secretary Dr. Amina Mohammed said the construction of the 4,500-seater capacity stadium, which began in 2016, was set to be complete in 2017. Now, the CS, who was accompanied by ministry officials, accused Toddy Civil Engineering and Construction Company of cheating the government. She pledged to collect the keys to a completed project next week or else fire the contractor. The government has been on an aggressive inspection tour of various sports facilities in the country to ensure that the Jubilee Stadium pledge comes to fruition.
The people around the stadium, the people of Tharaka-Nithi, they want this completed. They're wondering why it has taken so long, and it's such a small facility, right? It's not a big facility, it's a small facility.
That is right.
And it's taken so long. So we can't even plan for big projects here, right? With contractors who don't want to do their work. And so we have until Wednesday to get all this done.
Well, women-only marathon world record holder Bridget Kosgei has been unveiled as the brand ambassador for Stanbic Bank Kenya on a 2-year deal. The move is aimed at inspiring and encouraging Kenyans to achieve their dreams. The partnership with Bridget is also in line with Stanbic Bank's commitment to women empowerment, which is core to its operations, with its DADA program helping women with investment. Kosgei most recently defended her London Marathon title in 2020, adding to her list of achievements that also include back-to-back wins in Chicago.
You might confuse it with other things.
Enyewe ilikuwa ngumu last year sababu ya COVID-19, lakini siku lose off, nilicontinue tu mazoezi kama vile nimewaeleza, na continue pole, lakini si ya kupush sana. Enye race fulani ikipatikana unaenda tu kidogo tu na unakuwa sawa.
Most people don't know Bridget, what she's done, and we are trying to show that, you know, God does a woman who is a world record holder in this country, and would like her to be put up there and support others and make other women see this. As you know, Stanbic has been driving the women agenda and promoting women, and would like to see that there is a woman out there who is a world champion who can be seen that. I think that is the first thing.
And Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling scored as Premier League leaders Manchester City beat Burnley 2-0. That was at Turf Moor to stretch their unbeaten run to 13 games and restore their 3-point lead that is at the top of that English Premier League table. Jesus on Tuesday to draw level on points collected, their now customary victory over the Clarets. Meanwhile, third place Leicester beat Fulham 2-0 at Craven Cottage. Brighton won 1-0 against defending champions Liverpool, as Leeds United lost 2-1 to Everton. West Ham United won 3-1 over Villa. Tonight, Tottenham will host Chelsea at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
James Justin around the goalkeeper to claim Leicester's second goal.
March. Dan Burn is there and he's free too. Turn it square towards Alzate and Brighton lead. Stephen Alzate.
You know, while we were away, Ida, did I tell you that I once said Gabriel Jesus?
Jesus.
Instead of Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
See how you spoil me with
I'm
all the
telling
phonetic
you,
spellings?
that pronunciation really needs to come through, Olive.
It does. Good thing you're an expert. Well, that's it for NTV tonight. Ida Waringa and myself, as well as David Agondoa, say a good night. Mark Masai will be back tomorrow night together with Ida.
Yay!
And I will see you at 1 p.m. And, oh yes, Dan Mwangi says
we shall revisit.
Leaving him out. Dan Mwangi will be here with the business. Good night.
This is NTV.
Yes, another Saturday, another beautiful